Hello.
How's everybody doing today? My name's ShortyFPV. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the creator of the ShortyFPV freestyle maps in Velocidrone. I am an avid FPV enthusiast and hobbyist, and I've been flying for just a little over a year, at least flying seriously. I got into the hobby about 4 years ago, and it was a frustrating experience, and that's why I'm here today um, to help you, the newcomer to the hobby, who's infatuated and really intrigued with it, and to show you the smartest way to get into the hobby. Um, Again, thank you for joining me. Still new to streaming, so I'm a little bit sidetracked. Anyway, you ever had that frustrating feeling as you were trying to figure out exactly how to get into the hobby, what to buy, just where to start? I mean, it can be the most ruthless experience that you've ever had. I know it took me a long time. I had to do a lot of research after the fact that I tried to jump into it. So that's the number one thing. Don't just jump into it. If you're coming from flying like DJI style drones, they're not the same. They handle very, very differently. There's no auto holds. So don't think you can just jump into it. And I have an example right here for you. I jumped right into it. I went out and bought this ready to fly drone. It is the Aris X Speed 250B V2. It's an analog version quad. It's a pretty sturdy quad. Well, unless you're a noob and you're just jumping into it. But, and you see I have broken props, but that's not for my first flight. When I initially received this, I was all excited, and like I said, I didn't do much research other than seeing a couple of videos, getting excited, and thinking, "Oh my gosh, I want to do that." Saw another couple of videos, people explaining, "Hey man, go get a simulator. Practice on this first." Well, I didn't heed that warning. Like I said, I just jumped right into it. Bought this quad here. Just get up for a minute. Came as a ready to fly bundle from Amazon. I spent like I want to say I spent $429 for it. It was probably one of the cheapest things I could find. I again didn't know anything about this, didn't do much research, just knew I wanted to get it in the air, so I went and bought this and 6 batteries. Soon as I got the batteries, I went out, tried to fly it, had trouble getting in the air, and then finally got into the air. Was successful flying. I was able to control it a little bit, but it's still very inexperienced, very just kind of all over the place. And then lost control, about 60 miles an hour, hit the ground, and shattered or cracked the top plate. And then this was on the second battery. Immediately went home, frustrated, didn't want to fix it, didn't know nothing about fixing it. Did order a new frame, and then went out and bought a complete another ready to fly bundle. And I also have goggles. I'll show you later. Same story. 2 batteries in, 60 miles an hour, crashed it to the ground. So now I'm into it about $860. Broke this little tiny plate. Thank God the frame on this thing was aluminum. By the way, this is the Aris X210S. It has a bottom mount battery. But don't worry about that right now. Just focus on the fact that I'm trying to safely and cheaply, as cheap as possible, get you into this amazing hobby. So yeah, so I shelved it for 4 years. And then finally I decided, you know, I've got a lot of money wrapped up in this. I better, not that I better, but I really, really want to fly. So I sat down and started looking through FPV simulators, and then I found DCL's game on PS4. It's not the best way to start using one of those style controllers, like an actual game style controller. This is the Luna controller. I have many controllers in here. Oh, I better pick that up. I'll explain exactly to you why. So, game style controllers, gaming controllers have this spring on the vertical axis on the left joystick. FPV controllers do not. I'm sure you can take this out of here. I've never tried. But FPV controllers do not. It is in... This is in the down. It stays wherever you push it to. So that's like a huge difference. That's your throttle. Like I said, it'll stay. So if you're flying a really FPV quad, if you let that go, it doesn't like center itself. It doesn't stop. It's at whatever throttle, whatever speed that you put it at. So anyway, you can set this when you're using one of these to 0 throttle at middle position. But what that does is it packs too much stick movement here into this little space in here. So it's wildly uncontrollable as far as the throttle goes. You can fly it that way, but I don't recommend it. I recommend that you try to learn on a PC, or at least you can get dongles to hook up to like your PS4, PS5, and Xbox that support these controllers. They are kind of limited. I would recommend ultimately getting a PC, a gaming laptop, or a gaming PC with a fairly decent graphics card. I used to game with, well, fly sims with. I started out with a Mac 1 M Mini. They support sims somewhat, but you might as well get a PC running like an RTX 4070 graphics card. I know that's a lot more money there too, because we're talking about getting into FPV right now. But down the road, you're going to want it, unless your concern is just practicing for a little bit and then getting in there. Then that's fine. Don't spend your money there. But what I'm going to say, the best way to get into this hobby, go out and find a good remote control. Don't just go buy a cheap one. I mean, you can get by with this Radio Link AT9S. It's a decent controller. I did learn on this in the simulator, but the gimbals are really loose. There's a lot of play in them. You'd be much better finding a radio that has something like Hall sensor gimbals. And I have a couple of those radios here I can show you, and we're going to pull them up on the internet real quick. I'll show you several places you can get them. So one of them is the Jumper T Pro. And like I said, I have a lot of radios in my possession. I'm addicted to this hobby, so I have a decent job, so I spend a lot of money acquiring things like this. But this is relatively cheap compared to some of the other controllers out there. This was about, and we'll get into price. I won't even quote you right now. We'll get into things that I like about it. It is a gaming style RC controller, so it's a little bit smaller profile. This is a 4-in-1 controller, and what that means is that you can hook up to multiple systems. Flying systems, and it also has a module bay for hooking up to other receiver systems. I'm not going to go into great detail right now because this is just to get you started. But anyway, this is the Jumper T Pro made by the Jumper. And it very similar. It does have some buttons up here, trigger buttons that you're used to on like gaming style stuff, and it has a couple of rocker switches here. So you can either find this one, Now this one I'm going to show you. I have two by this brand. This is Radio Master. This one is the Radio Master Zorro. It is also a gaming style controller, and it's relatively close in price to the Jumper T Pro. As you can see, Radio Master Zorro is a little bit bigger. Has a bigger screen on it. Much bigger screen. Much bigger screen. They both support OpenTX and EdgeTX. So yes, look for something like this. Or I mean, if you got some money to spend and anyway you want an older style with all the toggles, I like this. I sim with this right now, and I fly in real life with this. Eventually, I'm going to switch it around. This is going to be my sim one. This will be my daily flyer in real life. I prefer the bigger style when you have a neck strap. It feels more comfortable. I'm a pincher. Well, I'm a hybrid pincher. My thumbs stay on top, and I just kind of rest my fingers here. It gives me a little bit added precision. There's a lot of thumbers out there. If you game and you thumb, more power to you. I do recommend trying hybrid pinching or pinching, depending on if your sticks are long enough. The Jumper T Pro, the Hall sensor gimbals on there are a little bit longer than my Hall sensor gimbals on my Radio Master Zorro or that Radio Master TX16S, which is the one that I showed you. That's the lowest end version. I got it for like $2.99 on Rotor Riot. RotorRiot.com, I guess. All right, so let me pull up a couple of those on the computer real quick for you. Let me get things loaded back up. So, if you want, and again, ShortyFPV, thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions, just please join in the chat. I do have TTS, so. All right, Jumper T Pro. And let's get you a good price on it, man. Let's see what we can find. Alrighty then. So, looks like if you're willing to wait, and I don't know, I've never shopped from US Banggood. I've heard a few things about them. This is probably the cheapest price you can get. It's probably going to be like $100. But I have heard that you're going to have to wait in instances like that. And one second, I've got to adjust my camera over here. I'm still new to streaming, so yes, there we go. Still very new to streaming, so I've got one more thing to adjust. Oh, no, I can't use HDR. Never mind, guys. Sorry. Anyway, so Jumper T Pro, $109.99. Jumper T Pro, but this is actually this one here they are picturing. That's actually the Jumper T Lite. I can't really find that anywhere. I guarantee you they are not selling that. And then there are other various options. There's the Jumper T20. This is actually a pretty decent deal. I've seen it for like $200. I'm actually going to pick this up. $129.98 on Amazon. Oh my goodness. I've been wanting to try this. I don't want the Hall gimbals though. I want the other gimbals that they have, the RDX 90s or whatever. Anyway, so those are some options right there. We'll pull up the Radio Master Zorro real quick, and then I am going to get into the next thing that you need to be thinking about before you ever even grab an FPV drone and try to fly. Before you even think about which one you want. We're going to get into that in a minute. All right, so the Radio Masters are, and you can get interesting skins for them. And again, like I said, they are pretty close in price depending on where you're going. This one is a custom built one. This actually has some really good gimbals in it. Don't worry about that. Just get the Halls for now. If you want to upgrade later and start taking things apart, go for it. But yeah, roughly about the same price, and you can find any of these controllers on Amazon. So if that's where you're prefer to shop right out the gate, that's where I found the Aris X Speed 250 when I went out, but I do not recommend doing that first. After we talk the next step, maybe going and buying something like that, that ready-to-fly kit, maybe that's what you want to do. But you're already going to have the controller. There's a lot better options than that quad. That is a good quad, don't get me wrong. I still fly it. But it is analog, and I've gotten into the digital scene. So, all right. Anyway, so we're gonna leave the music off. Oh my goodness, I'm getting messages. What the H? We do not care what's on HBO tonight. I don't care. So, all right. So the next step that you want to be thinking about when getting into FPV. Let me switch to some music and turn it down a little bit. Okay, now. So, the next thing you want to be thinking about doing, instead of worrying about the quad, as you can see, I got this pulled up here. This is Steam, you guys. If you guys are gamers at all, you know what Steam is. If you don't, I highly suggest you just go online and download Steam. Just go to steam.org or just Google search Steam. If you want, I can pull it up here in just a minute. But once you get in there, it's going to pull you up to the store page. And then from there, you're just going to go into this search bar here, right here. Yeah, right here. You're going to go into the search bar. And then you're just going to type in FPV simulator. Now I have a list of 11 simulators that I fly daily. Like I said, I started out with DCL the game, but you can see there's a whole list of things here. You have to make sure under each one which platform is supported. If you're running PC, you should be all right because I think all of them are PC. Some you can just run straight off of Steam, and then Mac OS if that's what you have. So some of the ones that you might want to look at that are really good, and I'm going to start at the top of my list. Now, this very, very first one that I'm going to talk about, you have to have a serious PC to be running this, like a gaming PC, like I mentioned before, with an RTX 4070 graphics card. If you have that, then then you're good to go on just about any sim, as long as you have a minimum of 16 megs of RAM. So, my ultimate favorite, and this one just took the #1 spot, is Trip FPV. This one is built on the Unreal 5 engine. It has stunning graphics. If you've ever been online and seen any of my live streams, I do live streams, fly in with chat, and I've done a lot of Trip videos. It is amazing, as you can see right here in just like the preview scene. Just simply stunning. Let me shut this off. Simply stunning, man. It is just a beautiful, beautiful stim. This is their newest map here, and it is massive. Massive. The physics are very, very close to reality. Really close. You can dial them in almost perfect with the new update. You can build your own quads in there. And the whole idea behind this simulator, it is so intuitive that you can learn to do tuning and learn about the physics a little bit straight through the simulator. So this is like cutting edge. This is like leaps and bounds of ahead of simulators that are out right now. So next on the list, next favorite is not on Steam at all. So number 2 on my list, I'm going to have to go back to the internet, and the number 2 is Velocidrone. This one is the one that was actually #1 on my list until Trip's update. So Velocidrone, just Google search, just type in Velocidrone into Google. That's VELOCIDRONE. They have their own website. They don't need Steam. Here it is. They are built on the Unity system, gaming system platform, and very, very good. Out of the box, you don't have to mess with anything. This was a simulator I passed up for a long time, and I don't know why. I didn't fly it previously. I think it was just the name. The name just kind of threw me off, but it is actually a very, very high quality simulator. A little bit lower res graphics, but you can run this simulator just on almost any computer, at least semi-newer. You can run it on some older computers. But I recommend you get something newer. It doesn't have to be something high-end, and you can run this. They also have a mobile version that you can run on your phone. Limited maps. The maps on there are the lower res one, but it is something that is actually really, really good to get you started. Velocidrone also has let you learn switching your switches, so you can set up your arm switch and set up a turtle mode. So if you crash, you can learn to flip over without having to do the walk of shame, as it is known in the FPV world. All right, so that is Velocidrone, and then next on the list, we are going to go to. Here comes my cat, Salem Nights. He's awesome. Hello, Salem. What is next on my list? I'm going to say Uncrashed. Uncrashed is another one built on the Unreal Engine, and it is stunning. The graphics are really close, or I mean the physics are really close to IRL, but they are not the best. But don't take my word on this as far as feeling. You're just going to get started. This is close enough. This will get you started too. But I don't recommend just getting one simulator. I recommend getting multiple. I know I'm talking about spending some money. These are all roughly about 20 bucks. But I can tell you in the long run, it is worth it, man. It's going to save you even more money. Because if you just go out there, buy a ready-to-fly kit like I did, you're going to break your quad almost instantly. You might even not even get as long of flights as I did. You might not get into 2 batteries. Maybe you get 3, but eventually you're going to break that thing, and you're going to be very frustrated, out of a lot of money. So my recommendation, get a simulator to start, and then as you get bored with that one, get another one. And while you are practicing in these simulators, and I'm talking about, man, get at least like 30 hours in the simulator. Get really, really comfortable with it, and don't practice in angle or anything else other than acro mode. Only practice in acro mode. This is going to help you out immensely, as well as flying in multiple simulators. I've, in just 1 year, across 11 simulators, I have logged at least 1,000 hours there and a couple hundred hours flying in real life. But I had almost 300 hours, almost 400 hours in before I even started flying in real life again. And I can tell you, I didn't crash at all. I do crash now because I get pretty ballsy with things. Let me stop this. But it's just the nature. It's just what it is. You just, what's the point if you're not going to get radical out there with your FPV? But you got to be safe. Third thing, like I said, while you are practicing in the simulators, then start your research. Start gaining as much knowledge about the hobby as you can. Start watching every video you can by Joshua Bardwell, Chris Rosser, and many, many others. Joshua Bardwell is like the easiest one. Just type in Mr. Know-It-All or Joshua Bardwell in YouTube and start watching all of his videos. And I mean all of them. All of his knowledgeable videos. It's important for a pilot to learn at some point in their flying career how to build, how to fix, repair, whatnot, your FPV quads. It's vital. I am just now learning, and like I said, as far as learning tuning and physics, Trip FPV, there's a whole onslaught. The next thing that you need to be doing before you ever put your quad in the air, you need to research the laws in your area or country and find out exactly what the laws are. Know the laws that pertain to flying FPV drones. Know where you can and can't. There are mobile apps like OpenSky that you can use and you can access once you start learning the laws that will tell you what areas that you can fly in, because you can't fly everywhere. You can't. And then another thing to remember too is if you are trying to get into this hobby with the intentions of down the road, you want to start making money at this. This is going to be a side hustle. Maybe you want to get into like cinematic flying and produce videos for maybe a real estate agent or something like that. Really cinematics, or you're going to do fly through of a bar or bowling alley or some venue like that. At that point, you will definitely need to have an FAA Part 107 certification. And you just get online if you are in the United States. And like I said, FAA certification, I'm talking only about laws in the United States. Everywhere else in the world, still, find out what the laws are where you live. Anyway, if you're going to do anything to make money with any kind of drone or FPV quad, doesn't matter the weight class or anything like that, and you're doing that anywhere, you need to have an FAA Part 107 certification. There are study courses on YouTube. There are study courses online. And you just get online and search out FAA Part 107 certification, and that you can find out where a testing center is near you and apply. Another thing that you will need is you will need a remote ID if you plan on making money with this. As well as now, if you're looking at 5-inch quads, like the quads that I've shown you, and they weigh anything that weighs over 250 grams, and that means fully loaded. If you have a camera on it, you have your battery on it, you got your propellers on it, your straps, all that. If it weighs 250 grams or over, number one, you have to register it with the FAA in the United States. Number two, you will have to have a remote ID. No matter what, you'll have to have one. They are currently working on small ones. It is added weight to your quad, and their 250 grams is an arbitrary number, and it's a bunch of crap. Like, serious crap. I can't stand it. It makes me, yeah, exactly. It makes me, exactly. So, yeah. So, if it's over 250 grams, you have to have it registered with the FAA. You have to have a remote ID, and if you are going to try to make money with it, you also need to have an FAA Part 107. I would say it would be wise to study for your FAA 107 anyway. No matter what, just get the knowledge. Get the knowledge. Know what you are allowed to do. Know how to read the maps. Very important. Very important. There's a lot of knowledge in there that you can use, but there's also a lot of knowledge that doesn't pertain to FPV, but you still need to know it. So let's do a little recap. So to get started in an FPV, the first thing that you need to do is buy a radio controller. And with that, I almost forgot. Buy one of these. This is an actual receiver for FPV for these remote controllers, and that is why I have, like I told you, a 4-in-1 controller. This one is an FR Sky receiver, which is kind of an older tech. A lot of people steer away from them because they think they're bad. I don't see the problem, especially for like PC. So this is like $20 on Amazon. Just a FR Sky dongle, USB dongle for FPV remote controls. $20 on Amazon. Well worth it. It will save you trouble with the the plug-in link, the USB port on your controller. So, again, number one, get a controller, get a dongle so you can connect to your computer. Number two, get at least 3 simulators. Like I said, to start out, and especially if you don't have a high-end gaming PC, Velocidrone, I would get uncrashed, and let's say FPV Logic. I've recently just got into that. It's a newer simulator. Very well done. It is also on the Unreal Engine. Their physics are not quite on par, but they have gotten a lot better. They've had a lot of updates since their release. It is also very good. So get those 3 simulators to start. I recommend getting more. And if you have a gaming PC, I highly recommend Trip FPV Simulator. It is the #1 simulator out there right now. Opinions vary on that, guys. Opinions vary, and that's why I say get multiple simulators, fly them all, because they all fly differently, just as all quads fly differently. And make your own decision on which one's the best, whichever one feels the best for you. Like I said, don't take my word on it. If you guys ever have any questions, feel free to DM me on Facebook, ShortyFPV. As well as check out my live streams. I have another live stream coming up this evening, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time in the USA. Everybody else around the world, just go ahead and do the conversion there. Add or subtract how many hours you need to figure out what 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time is. It's going to be another episode of Shorty Shenanigans. We are actually going to go through Area Drone 2023 FPV simulator. They just had another update fixing one of my major gripes. So tune into that. OG Shorty FPV on YouTube at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time in the US. Everybody else in the world, man, love you guys. Happy flying. And thank you guys for watching. Again, 7 p.m. tonight, man. And I hope to see you guys there. Join the live chat. It's a lot of fun. I have TTS set up. It'll be a ball, man. We're also going to be checking out some pilot spotlights tonight. And any of you guys that get into the hobby and get up into the air, you ever want to share your videos, please DM them to me. Eventually, I will have links in the description below, eventually, to my Discord and also my Patreon. I also make custom freestyle gates, really obscure shapes and basic shapes, stuff like that. They are for sale on there. I'd appreciate it if you get on there and help me out. And I would love it if you guys subscribed.
Do it now, or I'll hunt you down. Smash like.
Hit that like button, guys, man. And thanks again for watching, man. I'm Shorty FPV, and I'll see you guys in a couple hours.